He's got co-host just in case he has to drop off as well. All right, sweet. Okay, awesome. And then my other co-host, Miss Weaver, she's good. Perfect. You guys can control the door. Well, welcome to tonight's call, guys. We're gonna go over simple concepts of what makes the market move. A lot of times, people always see the flashy side of forex trading, right? We always see how Donnie getting in the market, getting out the market is like, oh my God, he can predict the future. No, I'm using some of the basic concepts when it comes to trading the financial markets that you could possibly have. I was talking to a group earlier today about the advanced strategies. The advanced strategies in Forex are nothing more than the basics added to a strategy that somebody has created or using that is proven to work, right? So when I talk to a lot of people and they say, I want to get into your advanced course. Well, guess what? I'm gonna make up a number for how much I charge you for an advanced course because it's nothing more than me giving you a strategy, right? Because once you've mastered the basics, you can pretty much say, hey, I'm going to come up with my own strategy, right? Today, we're going to talk about one of the best and simplest concepts to trading the financial markets. Now, I want you guys to remember something very, very, very important. KISS. As we say in the United States Marine Corps, keep it simple, stupid, right? Not calling anybody on here stupid, but as Marines, right, we know the joke Marines love crayons, right? We're not the smartest cookie in the cookie jar, okay? So we have to keep it simple. One of the simplest ways in the financial market is to understand support and resistance, right? Well, what is support and resistance? Just like in a house, if I look down at my feet, I'm standing on the floor. But if I look up at the ceiling, I'm looking at resistance because if I jump, I'm going to hit my head, right? Very simple concept, right? Well, now if I go upstairs to the second floor of my house, I am no longer on the ceiling. I am now on a floor. So that ceiling that was once resistance has now become support. Now let's translate this over to the financial markets. Okay. In layman terms, when a stock price or a commodity or or a metal or a forex pair, no matter what it is you're trading, when that price stops falling and starts rising, the market's going to create support. Or when a stock price or forex pair stops fall or stops going up and then starts dropping, it's going to create resistance. Well, Donnie Pips, I don't know how to find that. Right now, looking at this, there's a lot of information looking at my chart, right? There's a lot of candles going up and down, sideways. But if I'm looking at the chart right now, I notice that the market has kind of moved sideways, and I can kind of just envision these candlesticks along a floor, right? We can kind of just see it. Everybody can see that pattern right now as the price moves sideways. We can just kind of see that price is failing to go below a certain price point. Everybody see that? Just looking at area right here. Okay, we notice that price is just kind of moving sideways. Very simple. Right? Well, there's still a lot of information in there. Okay. So I like to look at a concept that is very, very simple. Okay. I'm going to use my two candle method. Okay. Right now, if I look at price and I look at current price right now here, and I look at these two candles, envision this buy candle and this sell candle. Buy candles are represented in green. Sell candles are represented in red. If I look at these two candles and I look at the base of the candle, if I look at the base of the candle, price was going up, closed, and then started falling at the same exact level. Does everybody see that? Not talking about the wicks. I don't care about the wicks right now. Think of the wicks as your pocket, right? On payday. You get paid, you got money in your wallet, and then bills hit, and then there's nothing in your wallet. Those are wicks. Wicks is nothing more than where money used to reside. All right? Nothing else left in there. Okay? So, but I see this base, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to identify this base. All this base tells me, all this base tells me is the most important information that I need. This base tells me that at 27.18, price stopped rising and started falling, creating some of the strongest support and resistance lines in the financial markets right now. Everybody see this base. Give me a 1 in chart if you could see this even base. I'm showing you guys how simple this is to find the strongest support and resistance lines in the financial markets, right? Because a lot of times people struggle with some of just the basics. Okay, perfect. So if we found it here, how many people think we can find it in other locations? Good. Now, before we go and look for other bases that look just like this, okay? Before we go look for other bases, I want to mention something very, very important. My new traders. My new traders, I want you guys to understand time frame trading, okay? Up here in my top left corner, I have a bunch of time frames, okay? We trade on different time frames. To not to confuse anybody, I'm going to use a sports analogy. We're going to talk about football or basketball, whatever your favorite sport is. Think of each one of these time frames as a different NFL team, right? With the daily being the strongest team right now in the NFL. Okay. So each one of these is a team. We're going to say the daily, even though I would like to say the Pittsburgh Steelers, we're going to say the Kansas City Chiefs, right? And so forth. Okay. All these are NFL teams. Now, you are now a new GM of your own expansion football team. You are now the owner and general manager of a football team. Okay. Me, I am the commissioner of the NFL. What I am going to allow you to do, I'm going to allow you to look at each one of these teams, each one of these time frames. And what I'm going to allow you to do is I'm going to allow you to pick the best player from each team. How does that sound? Okay, he said the Cowboys, so we just gonna put them right off the chart. Okay, right. So how does that sound? If you're able to look at each one of these teams and take the best players, right? That sounds amazing because now you're going to make an all-star team. Well, it's the same thing that goes in the Forex market. When I'm looking for a strong support and resistance line, the best player, okay, I'm going to find the base on each one of these time frames. Is everybody still with me? Right? I'm going to find the base on each one of these time frames. I'm going to find the best player possible. And we always start with the best team. Right now, if we were playing tag, or we were playing any game in the park, or at recess, right? And I get the pick. I'm a captain. You're gonna pick the best players first, right? Always, right? If Michael Jordan and you're playing 5-on-5, you got first pick. You're getting Michael Jordan, Kobe, or LeBron, right? You're gonna pick one of the best players. So we're gonna do that. So right now, we're gonna always start on the daily. Somebody mentioned to me, Donnie, I noticed that the market had already started doing this thing by the time I sat down. Listen to me very carefully, traders. The market doesn't start moving until you mark up your chart. The market, I don't care what the market does. I don't care what the market does. The market doesn't start moving until you have come to the charts. Okay? You can't predict the past or the future. Okay. I don't care that the market just ran 50, 200 pips, $20, whatever. I can't do anything about me not being at my computer or me starting my day later than the market started moving. Okay. So when I sit down, I'm not worried about, I wish I could have, should have. What I'm worried about is getting the right information so I can now beat or play with the market. Does that make sense to everybody? Okay. So again, we're just now sitting down at the market. I purposely have not looked at the charts all day. I didn't trade today. I was out all day. I don't know if my brother Colt's on right now, right? I haven't really looked at the charts, but haven't been here. So now we're gonna do it together. This is my first time at the charts. I don't care what happened. First things first is I want to identify the direction of the trend. That's done on the daily. We're on the daily. Okay. I know right now that gold is in a downtrend or moving sideways. So I've already identified that. That helps me with my overall bias of what direction the market is going to go. Next, I'm going to look for my bases. I'm going to start on the daily with the strongest time frame, the Kansas City Chiefs. Okay. I found my high already, had a beautiful base. I noticed at where current price is, price also created a base. Base means support or resistance. We notice here price created a base right here. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and identify that base as well. Okay. Now, looking to my immediate left of my baseline, my support or resistance line, I notice I have some bases here, some ugly looking bases, but it's still structure, right? It's still structure. Okay. If you would have had this identified before or had come to your charts before, you would have most likely caught this trade. Okay. What happens in the past is going to happen in the future. So now I have my baseline. Okay. Very key, important information when finding a baseline. I don't care about what happened to the left when I draw a baseline. I care about the starting point, which is a base. Okay. The starting point is a base. All right. It's kind of ugly. Okay. The starting point is a base. All right. What I care about is I care about the information from the base to the right. Okay. Here's why this is important. Anytime you find a base, when you look to your right, if a candle has broken through your base more than 3 times, 1 break, 2 break, 3 breaks, and I'm talking about the body of the candle, your base is invalid. That means that support and resistance line is no longer valid according to market movers. Okay? So right now, this is a brand new base, so I have no breaks to my right. Don't care about what happened to the left of where my base starts at. Does that make sense to everybody? Because a lot of times, some of you guys have too many lines on your chart, and sometimes it's invalid. They're no longer any good. And one of the greatest questions somebody asked me today was, how do I know when my support or resistance line is no longer any good? You'll know because it's been broken more than 3 times. Does that make sense to everybody? Perfect. Now, if you notice, I have a base here. It was kind of ugly, but I can tell it was kind of a base. When I have a base here, and then right next to a base, a newer base has been created to the right, but they're very close to each other. Which one do I want to use? This base or this base?
Close to price cut.
Most recent.
Most recent, closest to price. Very good. Newer price. But for instructional purposes, we're going to leave both bases. Even though this is kind of ugly, we can tell that if we just slid this down, this would be a base. There was a gap here. Okay. Here's why bases are so important. You notice how this base is here. No matter what happened to price, price still came back to touch this base, right? Because we're going to talk about pushing the button without waiting for a candle to close. Okay. And then I'm going to look to see if I have any more bases. Now, highs and lows are automatically bases. Highs and lows are automatic bases. What did I just say?
Highs and lows are automatic basis.
Automatic basis, because sometimes highs and lows will have one candle, as we see here on gold. So as I'm looking on gold, it has one candle. Highs and lows are automatic bases. Okay. Now, look at our bases. We found all this information to the right, right? If I look left, watch how perfectly these lines match up or touch something. This was the information we just found, current information. We're just going to look left. I have a rally base rally at this baseline. So just imagine if I knew the information that Donnie Pips is giving me right now, if I knew this back on October 11th, that there was a base here at a rally base rally. Look at that. I would have known, I would have had some strong information. Okay. Now we notice if I look to my left, I have a baseline right here. Good point. Now, remember what I said. I don't care about what happened to the left. I care about what happened to the right.
Right.
Let's see if this baseline is still valid. I've got 1 break. I've got 2 break. Is this baseline still valid?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. And look what happened when price came back to our baseline. Or in this case, price is above it, our support line. Price came back and touched it perfectly and pushed back to the upside. Look at that. A little bit. Does that make sense to everybody? Okay. Give me a 3 in the chat if you're lost. You don't understand in layman terms. Perfect. Everybody's tracking so far. Amazing. This is going to make you a lot of money because if you were on the call yesterday, everybody should have been in that gold buy and should have made a lot of money on gold yesterday or today. Now, I'm going to remember what I said. I started with the daily. I'm done with the Kansas City Chiefs. I'm done with the daily. I don't need all this information down here and all that other stuff because the market moves from zone to zone, right? And yes, I do have a base here. Okay. Now I need, and for instructional purposes, I am not identifying drop base drops just yet or rally base rallies as supply and demand zones because what are we going over right now? Support and resistance. Okay. So yes, I do know that this here is a supply zone. This one candle makes up a supply zone. I do know that, but it also makes a base. Okay. Perfect. Do we mark the high and low too far in the past? Nope. This is a high. I have a high here, so I can mark this high, right? But I don't need to go so far, and I got this low. This is my current trend movement. All right, Ivana, you want to keep track of just your current trend movement, okay? Unless price breaks through all of these zones, okay? Then now, if price closed way down here, now I'll go look for another low, okay? But right now, I'm only looking at the trend, okay? Now I'm going to go to my 4 hour. Remember what I said? Now I'm going to go to the 4 hour. I don't know who's next. The Buffalo Bills, right? The 4 hour, another strong time period. Noticed how on the daily I had all this information. Watch what happens to the same information when I go to the 4 hour. It got smaller. I've got two trends. I've got an uptrend and I've got a downtrend, right? I don't need any information back here. I just need the current information affecting the current trend. Okay? So there are two things we're going to do as we move down in time frame. What we're going to do is we're going to verify the daily lines, right? Those superstars from the daily, we're going to verify that they're still on a base. Every line must be on a base. Okay? So no matter what time frame you go to, if I go all the way to the 1 hour and I have a line from the daily, that line must still touch a base. Does that make sense to everybody?
Yes.
Now the question is, well, what happens if a line no longer touches a base?
Take it off.
Exactly, Ron, you get rid of it. Okay, so now let's walk our chart. Always start by current price. We got a beautiful downtrend right now on current price, so we're going to take a look at this downtrend. Man, look at this. If I would have had this base here before and been trading a few hours ago, right? Look at this. Price comes back to our base and pushes up. Now we are on gold. We are on gold. Now it says, well, Donnie, I noticed that price on gold created a rally base rally. Does everybody see that? A rally base rally is a supply or demand zone, which I'm going to get into in another segment. Okay. Right now, a rally base rally still has a what in it?
Base.
It still has a base, right? So guess what? I want to identify that base. Now, when it comes to rally base rallies, I want to do the bottom of the base. When it comes to a drop base drop, I want to do the top of the base. So now I've identified a base, but if we noticed, what happened to the right? What happened to our base?
Got lower.
3 candles went through it.
It got lower. Beautiful base right below us. You move your baseline down. Because remember, it's about the information to the
right.
Exactly.
Right.
So look how beautiful our base is. Okay, we have a beautiful base. And then notice above us, we have another beautiful base. Okay. Well, now the question is, and I see your question. All right. Question is, from John. It says, are those two lines too close to each other? What's his question? If you think they're too close, give me a 1. If you think they're not too close, give me a 2. And it's okay if you don't know, give me a 3. Says, well, I don't know. They are not too close. Looking to our right, look at the numbers over here. My baseline down here is at 2648. The baseline up here is at 2652. How many dollars is that in difference?
4.
4.
4. Thank you, James. I'm about to get into that. You're one of my advanced students. 4. That's a $4 difference. In gold, that's 40 pip difference. So, but depending on your trading style, right, and your take profit and stop loss, this is too close. 40 pips might be too close. For the E3 strategy, $4 is perfect. Why is $4 perfect? Here's why I keep it very, very simple. Let's keep it real simple. If I go from 2648 to 2652, that on a standard lot, that's $400. Who could use $400 in that small movement?
I could.
Me, right? I could. From here to here, you just made $400. From here to here, you just made $400. Well, says, well, Donnie, that's a lot of money in just that movement. Yes, it is. Now you keep a job away. So let's keep going. So I wanted to prove a point on why that is not too close. Okay. As I start looking, I'm just going to move up. I noticed that this was my base from before, and I had a base up here as well. Look how, if we would have utilized these bases from the past, price breaks a base because a baseline is nothing more than a support and resistance level. Okay? A baseline is nothing more than a support resistance level. If price closes through a support level becomes what?
Resistance.
Resistance. Let me be very candid with you guys. If you find your base levels, okay, and I used this analogy earlier. Think of this baseline right here as a platform. I'm from New York. I'm from Brooklyn, right? Put it like this. You come up to the platform, you got four spots where you stand to get on the train, right? You have door 1, door 2, door 3, and door 4. You get on the platform and everybody on the platform is standing in front of door 3. Where are you going to go stand?
Door 4.
Well, nobody's at door 4, so I'm going to go to door 3, right? All these people that are on this platform before I got there are standing on door 3. That means they know something that you don't know because you just got here, right? So if I know that everybody is going to take a trade because price closed below this base level, right, which now becomes resistance. If I see this, if Billionaire Mindset sees this, if Travell sees this, right? If Steven sees this, right? If Erica sees this, if we all see this resistance level right here at 26.64, what are we all going to do?
Sell.
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 We're all going to sell. Where are we selling at?
Next line of support.
At the resistance line, right? So do I need to wait for a candle to close? Do I need to wait for anything?
No.
No.
No, I don't. Here's why. I have the line already on here, and when price pulls back to do its thing, I'm going to push the button or set a pending level at my resistance line, and just like that, that's what happens.
Oh,
I already found my information.
all right. The whole run.
Well, Donnie, there was two levels there, right? There was two levels there. Look what happened when price came here, hit the support line, it pushed up, and then pushed down. For 42 pips, you just made $400 in that small movement by pushing the damn button at the support line. Right? How many people would like to be right 80% of the time when trading?
Me.
I would. Right? I would. You have it right here. So now I'm showing you the skill set and technique. So now this line, support line, was great before, but now I have 1, 2, 3 breaks in this line. Delete. That player is no longer any good to me. Right? This level now becomes this level. So you have a choice to make. Because they're so close, you can keep this guy and put this guy there, depending on how close they are. It's a $3 difference. There's only one break here. He is still valid. He's still a good player. Okay? So now I have good information. I have a base right here. Remember what I said about the drop, base, drop. We have a drop, base, drop. On a drop, base, drop, price goes on the top. On a rally, base, rally, price goes on the bottom. Baseline. Uh-oh. What's wrong with my line at 20, 26, 25? What's wrong with my line?
It's too
There's
wide.
no base.
There's no, wait. Say that again, Ms. Diva.
There's no base.
There's no base. Remember what I said. When I moved down, he looked good on the Chiefs, right? Because everybody looked good on the Chiefs, right? He looked good on the Chiefs, but then all of a sudden, when I got down here to the Buffalo Bills, to the 4-hour, I got to move him. I got here, right? Look at the attempt. And because this is so far away, I'm going to do both of them. That's $6. So now I have found my strong support and resistance line. And if you want, because price is so different, that's a $5 difference, I'm going to do that line too. Don't worry, my that's what my son asked for Christmas. He wanted a Commanders jersey because he was born in Virginia. Now he repping his team. All right. But do y'all see that? If I look to my right, these are still valid. This is weak, but look how valid they are. Drop, base, drop, price comes down to this line and pushes up. So all of these are support and resistance level based off of the strongest information available. And I'm going to stick next to current price. This was a good base, but it was broken 1, 2, 3 times, and this base moves to here. Does everybody see what I did? I can't make I can't go into how easy it is to find that pattern. Somebody just sent me a message, was like, it can't be that easy. Excuse my French, it fucking is that easy. Right? This is what made me over 7 figures. That's why I haven't had a job since I was 32. Okay? One at the top. Look at, I'm going to move him up a little bit. And just for instructional purposes, I have a base right here. It's a $4 difference. Okay? So I look good. So now I'm done with the 4 hour. I'm done with the 4 hour. I am now going to go to the 2 hour. And remember, I got to validate those same players. I got to see if those lines are still valid. Because remember, we're going to find the strongest people in the market right now. Okay? So let's take a look. We're always going to start by current price. Always going to start by current price. You answer the same thing. Exactly. Right? And then look at this. Let's take a look. This is going through. I'm just going to move him down just a little bit. He's still good. Look at this. If you guys would have known that this was here, if you would have known that this base was here at 26.48, how many people would have taken this buy right here? Right? But now look at this. This is a new base, right? This is a new base. Let's see if there was a baseline to our left that validated price staying above here. Watch this. Look at that. Look at that. On commodities, guys, you're going to use the 2 hour. On commodities, based off the E3 quick markup, what we're doing right now, you are going to use the 2 hour. Please write that down. Gold and oil, you are going to do the 2 hour. And silver, for those who trade silver. And look at that. That baseline right there reappeared over here. Okay? So I've got 2 bases. Uh-oh. Look at this. I found a phony. He's cutting through candles. What do I do with him? I move
him up.
And now I got to look at 26.65 because he's not on a base. Now I have a new base right here that's really close to this base. I can just get rid of this line. Right? Look at this. I have a base right here. And I've counted my lines to the right. I've got 1 break, 2 break. I'm going to put that there. You never want a big space on gold. Okay? Find a base. Because most likely in a base there, you're going to have a fair value gap or something like that. But we're going to get into that later. Okay? Now, I'm going to keep moving up. I found another imposter. I'm just simply going to move him down to here. He looks good. Right? He took over this spot right here, which was the spot. Spot held pretty good. Finally broke. And now I move it up to the new base. And look at that. Price came back to the base and continued pushing down. I have a base right here. Look, and you guys see what I'm doing? I'm finding 2 candle patterns, and I'm looking to the right to see how many times price has broken through them. I'm not doing nothing special. I can't, as I told, I think it was Ivana earlier, like Matthew McConaughey said, Fugazi, it doesn't exist, right? So now, don't send me a message. Somebody has a question, they need to open their mic and ask me. I know she's laughing her butt off. The question is, I'm messing with one of my students. All right. Question is, why do you move your support and resistance line, right? Before you went to the 2 hour. I didn't. It was invalid. That one was invalid. Okay. But if you notice, this is why. This was my old support and resistance line, right? And I had a newer one created right next to it. That's why I moved it. Okay. If one is newer and it's closer, you always go with the newer one, okay? Always go with current information. Okay. All right. Please send me a message after we're done with this right now. That's not what I'm addressing, but yes, I will. I don't know if you heard me at the beginning of class. All right. Now look at my two lines up here. My high gets moved up here. This line gets moved up here. Okay. So now I have all my support and resistance lines. Okay. Now remember, on a higher time frame, these lines are valid. As I go down lower, some of these lines are no longer valid. This one's valid. This one is not valid unless I move it up a little bit, and it has 1, 2 breaks. This line is still good. This baseline has 2 breaks. We're just going to move it down just a little bit, and that's still good. So now we have all of our support and resistance lines we need to predict where the market is going to go next. So if the market closes below this line at 26.48, this base, where is price going?
Down.
Down.
26.38. If price closes above 26.63, where is it going? 26.70. Right? So a lot of times when you guys see me on G Money's call or on Coffee and Charts, and I say, if price closes above, we can expect price to go here. This is all I'm doing. How simple was this? Now, mind you, we haven't even gone to the 1 hour. Again, when doing your walk down, when it comes to your basis, you are only going to do the daily, the 4 hour, the 2 hour, and 1 hour if you're doing gold and oil. Okay? If you're doing US 30 or NAS, you are going to omit the 2 hour and go from the daily, 4 hour, and straight to the 1 hour. Okay? All commodities, you must do the 2 hour. So now I'm going to go to the 1 hour. I'm going to get to that. Hold that question. That was a perfect question. Okay? I'm going to go to the 1 hour. Now, in the 1 hour, I don't need all this information. This was extra information from the higher time frames. So right now, I don't care about this information down here. But for instructional purposes, let's just walk down our trend. Because I'm going to blow your mind once we've walked our chart all the way down. I'm going to move him up, right? There's my base. I'm going to move him up. There's my base. He is not on the base. I'm going to move him up. And look at this. Look how perfect this is on the 1 hour. Bam! V correction. Broke. Price made an attempt to come back. Very nice. I don't need to worry about this because I have a brand new base over here. Not too much worried about it. I have a base right here. Very good. I could even use this base. Look at that. Price held on that base. Look how price held onto this base and moved sideways. We have a rally, base, drop. Look at that. Okay. Uh-oh. I got an imposter from the 2 hour, right? I now need to move him up to a base, as Miss Diva said. This was the base for this, right? But now the base has moved here. Okay. I've got 2 bases right next to each other, too small, less than $2 apart. I'm going to go with the higher of the 2. If they are this close apart, and it is a top base, if the bases, you have 2 bases right next to each other, you always go with the higher of the 2. Okay? Always go with the higher of the 2. Okay? And now price has created a new base. Oh, look at this.
Donnie, on that last one, do you wait until the candle close, or we could assume?
I was just about to say that. So right
Okay.
now, for me, right, there's 10 minutes in the hour, right? I'm going to put a base here.
Mhm.
Looks like price is going to drop, but look at this. We found a base here, right? We found a base here, and look what price is doing. Retesting this base. Yes, thank you, Erica. Retesting this base. Now, this candle has not closed yet, so this technically is not a base, okay? But this is a base, and this is a base, okay? All right.
It's a $3 move if you took the sell.
A $2 move, right? And this is a base here, okay? Those are my baselines right now, okay? So now I have all my baselines, okay? For instructional purposes, I'm going to just look up. Base is valid, valid. Base is still valid. Price created a newer base on that V correction. Valid and valid, right? Let's just look left at these bases. This base moves down. This base moves down. Go 1, 2, 1. Let's see, did anything break? Nope. This is less than $2 apart. I'm going to move this base, but I could leave it. Look how this base even played a part in the push up here. 1 break, 2 break, buy, boom. Look at that. Just by playing the bases.
Donnie, is that an imposter or underneath it?
This one right here?
Yeah.
Yep, this is an imposter. We're gonna
Okay.
just get rid of that. And we have our new base there. Okay, and let me just look left. Don't even need this.
But
base.
didn't that one only break twice?
No, it was that base was back to the left, all the way back here. That was all the way back
Okay.
here. That's why I didn't keep it. Okay. And then if I wanted to, I could put these other bases here. That one broke. Look at 1, 2, 3, 4. That broke, but yet it's right here. Okay. You could even leave this base right there. Right here. Yep. There we go. So it's not an imposter. Nope. Only 2 breaks. And look at that. We have all of our price points where price is going to bounce. Okay. Where price is going to bounce. Now, so that's as far as we go on finding our bases. How simple was that? How simple was that?
Very simple.
Y'all can open up your mic, say something. You got a question about it? Please
Very
ask.
simple.
Okay, please ask. All right, there's 100 of you guys on right now.
Hey, Donnie, that imposter that you had moved that Steve was talking about, does a up and down move count as one, or that's 2 separate candles?
Nope, 2 separate candles. These are 2
Okay.
separate candles.
All right.
Okay? So here's the base. 2 separate candles.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yes, it makes a lot of sense. Donnie, what time frame would you trade in though?
I'm not going over time frame trading right now. I'm just going over bases, right? We're going over support.
Okay.
We're going over support and resistance right now.
Okay.
Okay.
So
We are going
then it's only considered a break if it's the body that goes over the line and not the wick.
Not the wick. Exactly. Not the wick. Exactly. Okay. Because here's why. We are going to enter this trade, right? We're going to say, I want to get in this trade. There's nothing wrong with entering the trade, right? On the entry. Now there's other factors, the RSI and where price is going, but ultimately, no, the wicks are where that's just nothing more than a deep
Bill
move.
over.
Okay. All right. Any other questions? Now, here's the best part about this. Here's the best part, the second half to this class. Okay? You only go from the daily to the 1 hour. Anywhere there is a supply and demand zone, anywhere there is a supply or demand zone, there is no baseline. There is no baseline. So guess what? Part two is tomorrow, 9 p.m. We're going to go over the supply and demand zones of the baselines, right? So here's your homework. You are going to take silver, the chart silver, and you are going to do the same exact thing that I just did on silver chart. You're going to do silver. Do I have any other questions? 2-part class, a little bit extra for you guys. Y'all can thank Diamond Trey Harris. Not sure if he's on. I know he had a presentation call earlier.
Right here, bro. Right
there
here.
he is. Y'all can thank Diamond Trey Harris. You guys are going to get the second half of this tomorrow. And here's what I mean by that. Okay? Here's what I mean by that. What I mean by a supply and demand zone. If I have a supply zone, we're going to go over the 3 different types of supply zones or demand zones. If I have a demand zone, this green candle represented by an exaggerated move down makes this green candle a supply candle, right? If I have a supply zone, I don't need a baseline because which is stronger, a support and resistance line or a supply zone?
Supply zone.
Supply zone.
Supply
zone
is stronger. Exactly. So we're going to go over why our lines are going to go from all these lines to just about 3 or 4 of them, because where there's a supply or demand zone, I don't need a baseline. A drop, base drop is a supply zone. So therefore, I won't need a baseline. Any other questions before we depart this evening? Very short, very simple. Hour-long course, guys. We hit 106 people tonight. Thank you so much. Any questions before we get out of here? I got 5 more.
Yo,
Yes, Buddha.
yes, how are you?
I'm doing fantastic. I'm finishing up.
Where is this boy? I can't see him.
I'm on my computer right now. My camera is not working on it.
Oh no.
Your camera is not working. How are you? But you have your phone? Steven. Steven
Yeah,
just vanished.
nah, it cut out. Can you say it one more time?
I mean, you have your phone?
Yeah, I could grab my phone.
Grab it so that I can see you.
Okay, yeah.
Yes,
Okay, give
yes,
me a moment.
we miss you.
All right, give me one moment.
No problem. Ohangla.
Yeah?
Ohangla music.
Ohangla amefanya nini?
Unasikiza Ohangla music hapa.
You.
Haimbi tena.
Amenizapia.
Nimempata.
Manze nimechoma kitunguu. Pirates. Pirates of the Caribbean. Steven ameenda kuvaa nguo.
Unasema anaendea simu.
Anaendea simu. Kwani hiyo simu anaendea kwa street?
Hata atoroke leo nitampata tu. Kuna kuhepa.
Nimesema you must get him.
Akiingia kwa koli yoyote yeye na pinpoint. Share. Sasa ulisema utoa. Yaani umesahau mpaka kuweka carrot kwa chakula umeamua kuikula itapata mbele. Hiyo setup ni kali. Msupu wangu atakangi tu neneke kwa jikoni.
Kwa nini?
Sasa sinaharibu na kula ingredients.
Utambo ni kukula ingredients. Hapo ndio sweetness inakuja. Sasa hii
niko na njaa. Niambianga niko na njaa mingi. Kwani kijana alienda akiendanga uwe.
Kijana inakuwa ngumu. Utaona labda anatafuta link. Alitoka.
Sasa ninashangaa alitoka kwa nini?
Kwani mliambiana nini?
Nimemwambia simuoni, nikamwambia ajoin pia na simu. Sasa anashangaa kumbe ametoka hadi na hii.
Na hii kompyuta yake ni gani hii yenye haina kamera bana? Nini? Apple iko na kamera safi sana. Sijui kani atakangi kuitumia.
Sasa sijui sasa ninafaa umuulize hiyo kompyuta yake kwani ni gani?
Lakini hiyo kompyuta yake ni gani? Ikiwa hizi model sasa hizi ziko na kompyuta. Ziko na kamera.
Mbali ni ya kitambo.
Sidhani kama ni ya kitambo. Hata ni laptop gani ya kitambo yenye bado yenye mpaka sasa iko. Mimi naona ni kana ni enjoy. Ni ile tu sasa sema ajui mambo ya tech.
Kama ajui kutumia.
Unajua hiyo watu si ati wakiwa state ati wanaelewa. Waelewe mambo ya nini. Unapata wewe uko fiti kabisa, unaelewa hiyo mambo kabisa. A good number of them are just dumb. Hii chakula.
Mm.
Hata tu nichafue watu mtego yangu.
Matab network. Niliona mtoto wa Ruto alioleka.
Alioleka.
Mm.
Kwani alikuwanga hajawahi pata mtu?
Ndio na mimi nashangaa.
Mgani sasa?
Shalin Ruto alisema hizi oleka na Mkenya.
Sasa alioleka wapi?
Mm?
Nani amemwoa?
Aliolewa na nini? Naitwangaje? Na MTZ nasikia hivyo.
Ni sawa tu. Kitu sawa. Umeamua kupeleka mali Tanzania.
Mimi kupeleka mahali Tanzania.
Hajaoleka na Royal Family tena.
Wapi jo? Royal family itoka wapi?
Sasa harusi ilifanywa Tanzania.
Hata sijui. Nimeambiwa tu story. Waje nimeshinda nikionaona wana trend sasa nikashangaa ni kina nani. Sasa ninaambiwa tu story na mimi kwenda kutype kwa nini kwa web kwa site ati ndio niwaone hiyo itaweza. Naenda kuangalia hivi najipata nimeingia kwa chat.
Mimi hata sishughulikangi hata kuniuliza nini endelea sijui. Mimi hata kama Kenya jana kama hata Kenya jana ilikuwa bombed. I don't know.
Nimetuma request.
Nani ametuma request? Na hizi sasa hizi
Mimi.
nini humu sana? Allowed. Kwani sio mwanafunzi ana share chat? Oh, mwanafunzi alikimbia.
Sasa tushare ni kama Alan Friedman vile alitupata jana, si tukiendelea tu. Si tuendelee tu kufanya mambo yetu. Si hata wewe unajua there is no day tushaingia on.
Yeah.
Si unajua kuna day tushaingia on tukakosa kunini? Share chat. Nione hizi vitu zilifanya nini.
Unaona venye bado gold inazungukia hapo.
Mm. Hii hata siwezi trade, hata siwezi jaribu. Hii yote ni consolidation kuja kwa daily. Sasa turning off hizi moving averages. Oh, naona kama tunaweza endelea kupanda.
Sasa endelea.
Unaona hii ime create rally base rally hapo. So retest inaweza kuja hapa chini karibu na hii support, utaniangalia hiyo support iko wapi kwa wana. So tunaweza kuja hadi hapa chini. Mm. Unaona tunaweza kuja hadi hapa chini. Mimi nashangaa team trader sasa wana celebrate bila wamehit. Mtu amehit TP anasherehekea. Sasa nikashangaa huyu mtu kweli ako na experience. Una hit TP? Hizo ni gani hizo mzee?
Sasa wacha tu celebrate, labda ndio TP yao ya kwanza.
But
nimetumia message hapa aje.
Nani hiyo?
Keep.
Anasema nini?
Unaona hapa ana manini. Oh.
Ini day support/BOL. Huyu jamaa akikaa sana mimi hata ni kama nitalala. Ndio hata nasikia macho.
Macho inakataa.
Macho imekataa.
Macho inakataa. Ndio huyo anaingia.
Hizi laini kumbe hazikuangi za jaba. I don't know if you have seen this.
Me?
Yes.
The fair value gap. Yeah, I have it. 1 hour.
Is a daily.
Oh. Wait, I had a fair value gap. Which time frame was it? There's another 1 hour. I don't know if the 1 hour was filled up. Oh, that one I've not seen it.
I'm seeing price might come down here anytime. I think 1 hour fair value gap was filled. There's no any other fair value gap unless this one down here.
We have this one. Let me point it out to you.
This.
Yeah.
This is not so good.
Not so sexy.
Yeah, this one can.
Nilikuwa nangoja CPI ikuje hapo chini ndio ni buy.
CPI iliguza support yangu na ikapotea. Nilicheka, niliona unajua nilikuwa kwa hiyo buy, alafu nikasema leo stop. Hata sikusecure profit. Na nikalala. Where is this boy you are talking about? Steven. Amepotea tena.
Ametoka mbio.
Wacha basi yeye. Hiyo session yake ni kama tutamwekea tu kesho.
Hivyo ndo alinifanyia sungine akarudi akapata nimefunga call.
Hata nimengoja hadi roho ikaisha. Hiyo cycle nilikuwa nayo ikaisha.
Sipendi mchezo.
Ataifanya tu.
Kama hata atoroke atarudi tu.
Tarudi tu.
Pirate of the Caribbean. Nimekuwa na chai, sijui ukiniuliza nimeweka wapi hata sijui. Sasa inabidi nikunywe maziwa.
Chai ya maziwa. I think sijui ndeka kasturungi ni kunywange polepole. Hata JJ bana sikuona hii kumbe. I don't know what happened to me.
Stop.
Because